Hello beautiful people, good afternoon from South Africa and you welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. If you just see my face for the first time, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you coming here means a lot to me. And please, if you don't mind, hit on the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed, and definitely hit on the bell sign. That's where you'll be notified of my subsequent videos, because I make frequent videos about South Africa, about Nigeria. I just tell you different things about the two countries. Hence I live in South Africa and I'm a Nigerian, and I also bring a sneak peek of my life as a Nigerian who lives in South Africa to this channel, so you definitely enjoy it here. And to all my returning subscribers, you guys are the bomb. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. I don't take you for granted. Thank you so much. In today's video, it's going to be a story time, yes, and the reason I want to bring the story time, like, it's a moral lesson. It's my own experience, but it's just to bring a moral lesson to you. And the moral lesson of the story is do not judge a book by its cover, yeah, and don't be quick to judge people. Also, do not generalize. Let me tell you the story first before I continue with the lessons. Okay, so it's my horrible experience, or let me title it this way: a Nigerian did this to me in South Africa. Yes, a Nigerian family did this to me, a fellow Nigerian here in South Africa. So I would say my worst experience from a Nigerian in South Africa. Does that make sense? Like, it's like literally the worst experience I've had from a fellow Nigerian here in South Africa. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So this happened during my course of migration from Northwest to KwaZulu-Natal, where I studied. I have a lot of stories to tell about my study in KZN, because it was a memorable event in my life, and how it all happened. It was also emotional. I also had a lot of emotional times at that point in time. So let me just give you a recap. So I had to travel to Pietermaritzburg under 1 week. I was called to pick up an admission. I was asked to start lectures in just about 1 week. So I had just 1 week to get myself sorted, to move, and to get a house, to settle, and to start school. How crazy is that? So it was a very trying time, for good anyway, but it was a time that we needed a lot of help, even financially, because, you know, migrating is not an easy thing. Like, you have to move, obviously, and you have to buy things, and you have to rent a house, and you have to buy things, and you have to even pay for the fees. It happened how it happened because I didn't get the admission as at when I'm supposed to get it. Probably I just realized that probably because I was on a waiting list, if you understand how it works. So it happens that probably if you're in a waiting list, if some people don't pitch up to take the admission, then people on the waiting list can now come. Long story cut short, I had to move. We do not know anybody in Marisburg where I had to move, except a certain family, Nigerian family, a colleague of my husband. He's also, the man is a medical doctor as well, colleague, a friend, a supposed friend. So my husband is like, okay, I know just these people. Okay, let me call them. He called the man to help us find an accommodation. Obviously, we can't be looking for an accommodation from where we were. Even if we had to look for it on the internet, somebody needed to go and view the accommodation, right? So the man said, okay, that he's going to get the accommodation for us. Okay, on the day when we had to move, by the time we were moving, we asked him, have you gotten the accommodation for us? He said yes, that he has gotten an accommodation, very nice accommodation for us. We said okay, and he even called a high price. I think it was like an average accommodation then. He said, was it like 8,000 or 7,000? My husband was like, this is just for my wife and 2 little kids. Are there no cheaper ones? He was like, no, this is the best and all that. My husband was like, okay, we have no choice. We set out, started going. So by the time we were even getting to Pietermaritzburg, we were calling this man. He was not picking. Mind you, we had to move. We moved some of our things with a trailer, if you know what a trailer is here in South Africa. And we were coming with a GPS. We don't even know our way around. So we stood on the road for like more than 1 hour or 2 hours calling him. Apparently, it happens that obviously he's a doctor and he was on call that day, but it's not like that call, you know that people are coming, so you should be looking at your phone. It's not like, you're not in theater. Even if you're in theater, a nurse can answer the call, like, or you can give us the wife number of your wife. Okay, I think what happened was eventually he, after 2 hours that we were waiting on the road with a trailer in a new city, we were just waiting somewhere, he gave us the number of his wife. We called the wife. The wife directed us to their house. We packed our trailer, or I don't know how it happened. I think we had to even move into their complex with our trailer and all that. We were waiting for the man with the kids. We drove like how many hours? 7 hours or thereabouts, and all that, tired kids and all that. So hoping that, okay, this man is just going to come, show us the apartment you supposedly got for us, and we make the payment and move in. Though it's not as easy as that, but it was supposed to be as easy as that. This man came. We just needed to settle because the kids were cranky and all that. And the man came, and the house was in the same complex he was living. Guys, lo and behold, this house was not ready. Yes, the house was not ready in any way, shape or form. I think they needed to fix toilets, and they needed to fix the kitchen, everything. Like, my husband was like, but you said this house was ready. He's like, now wow. Anyway, bottom line, we needed to sleep somewhere that night. Okay, mind you, this person had 3-bedroom flat. His wife just had a little baby, like 3 months or thereabout, and they have a help, right? The mom of the wife was still there. Okay, we got into Pietermaritzburg on Sunday. That was a Sunday, and I was meant to resume school the next day. Remember, we were given the call that I was meant to resume school the next week. So we had to plan with 1 week. Came on Sunday, and I had to resume school the next day. And okay, the wife of the mom was around, but she was meant to leave the next day. That's on the Monday, because she came from Mugo, and the Mugo was over. They had the help and all that. So my husband was like, okay, so I don't know. I think my husband asked him, would it be fine if my wife puts up in your house? He said no, that the mom-in-law was still there. Mind you, the mom-in-law, he knew the mom-in-law was going, because when we came, church people even came to visit, now, like a woman that came to spend 3 months. They came to visit her because she was going the next day. So this is 3 rooms. He said the mom-in-law was in 1 room, the help was in 1 room, and the baby room is the other room. Baby room, they had 4 rooms. I remember now, because the house is theirs, and the 4th room was for him and his wife. So he said that, sorry, that we can't put up with them. My husband was like, okay, I don't know, is there any hotel around, or a B&B or something? This man went and got us the most expensive hotel in Pietermaritzburg. We that even needed money, we had to sleep in the hotel. The next day I went to school, because I had to go and show my face. Lecture had started. I needed to register. I needed to do a lot of things. So I went to school. My husband took Mma and Chigo. Then Mma was like 8 months going to 9 months thereabouts. Carried them, going from one agency to another to look for accommodation, right, in that new city, Pietermaritzburg. Okay, so what happened to our luggages, right? Yes, I think they were gracious enough to allow pack some of our things in their garage. So that was where we offloaded some of the things we had, because we needed to return the trailer also in another branch in Pietermaritzburg. So we had to return the trailer. We offloaded some of our things in their garage. My husband found an accommodation within 3 days, but he had to go back on the 4th day, because he was working with the government then, and he didn't have so much time. We had to remember the story I told you guys, where we had to stay in an empty house, an empty apartment that had no bed, had no couch, had nothing apart from our clothes and pots and some of the kitchen things I came with. So where I got touched was like the most painful part of the story for me is that, one, those people are supposed to be Nigerians, okay, right? I know that Nigerians generally, Nigerians are very hospitable. They are very hospitable people, and they are very welcoming. Although not to a reasonable extent, not to fellow Nigerians, but yeah, most Nigerians will be hospitable. Okay, so remember, I had babies. One of those times, my kids, because of the stress and all that, one of them began to cough. I think she was sick. My husband called him to help give me a prescription. So he came to the house to give me that prescription to get medication for her. He saw where we were lying. We were lying on the bare floor. We were lying on our duvet because we ordered for at what's it called, Joshua Door. We ordered for couches and bed. You know how these things take long to deliver to you. So we are lying on the bare floor with babies, and I think my baby caught cold. This man came to the house. He gave me that prescription. He was like, oh, it was so painful to me because these people had a spare room. Remember, the mom-in-law left. There are 2 rooms that we could have been able to accommodate us for if just a short period of time in one, but he did not accommodate us in any one. He saw that the baby was sick and he came to really give prescription knowing that the baby was lying on the floor. We didn't know anybody in Pietermaritzburg. And he gave me that prescription. He said, how are you coping? I said, we are fine, we are fine. I think we were not even cooking at that time because normally houses have stove, but in Pietermaritzburg the house did not have a stove. So I also had to buy a stove. So it's crazy. Another painful part was that his wife never deemed it necessary to, like, okay, even though I'm not your friend, but in Nigerian, you know my story, you know the thing, you know everything. He didn't even say, okay, please, can you take food? You're going to see them, eh? Well, take food now and go and give them. Never. And she never invited us. She knew that we are not settled. She never invited us for lunch again because imagine myself somebody else coming in, or I'll imagine myself somebody else coming in this city where I live and you're that stranded, because I'll call it a situation where I am stranded. I can't even cook and give the person, or I can't even allow the person. Instead, you share with the auntie, or the auntie will share with the kids and you stay in the auntie's room or something, or I'll share with the kids if I should be able to accommodate you, especially if I knew that you had little ones. Chico was about 2 years plus then. Mama was 9 months. 8 to 9 months. So the wife never did it. It was so sad for me because obviously the whole experience was a very emotional one. I felt so bad being that, oh my God, can people really do this to fellow human beings? I would just say maybe they were scared that if we stayed in their house for a while, we won't move out again. Is that even possible? Will I even want to stay in somebody's house for that long? And we couldn't pay. I think we stayed in the hotel till my husband left, and he brought us into the house where he found, and he ordered, hoping that things will arrive soon, and those things were not coming soon. So we couldn't even afford to go and stay in a hotel at the time again, because we stayed already obviously up to how many days or 1 week. I can't remember this. But the moral lesson here, yes. So this was what happened. Eventually we got sorted. I got sorted obviously, and I settled and everything. I just want to also let you know that this lady, I made sure she was not my friend, because I knew she didn't want to be my friend. All the time I was in Pietermaritzburg, she never came to my house. She never even tried to call. Okay, she never tried to call, and I never went to her house as well. Another important part was that she was a Christian. She was supposedly going to the church where I eventually became a member. So she was a Christian, and they were elders in the church. How can a Christian behave like that? What does Christianity, what do you learn about being a Christian and all that? Anyways, long story cut short, the moral lesson is that not everybody that you see that is a Christian is a good Christian one. Don't say all Nigerians are good, all South Africans are bad, or all South Africans are bad, all Nigerians are good. Like, judge people individually. Don't stereotype, because this thing didn't make me stop being friends. She's not from my tribe. They are not from my tribe, but people from their tribe are my friends. I love them. I do not stereotype. I wouldn't say because of the experience I had with these people. In fact, my best, somebody that happened to later be a very, very good friend of mine while I was in Pietermaritzburg, is from their tribe, okay? So don't judge people based on your experiences with other people, and don't say that all Nigerians are all good or Nigerians are all bad. Judge people individually. That's my moral lesson. Anyway, long story cut short, I cooked, I survived, and they cooked, they survived, they later left, and everybody, all man to their own, but it was a bad experience. It was an unexpected one, but yeah, I later made very, very sweet friends in Petermarisburg that were like, oh my god, when I told them this story, they say, what, can you imagine if only I knew you, I would have accommodated you now. In fact, at the time I met somebody that started bringing me food to the house, my friend Chioma. Like, I didn't know her, I just met her in school from my lecture, and she started bringing me food. This is somebody I didn't know from Adam, you know. Anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Please, the moral lesson is be nice to people around. Somebody might need help, and like, this story is very emotional one because I couldn't forget it, because my kids suffered, I suffered for something that somebody would have lent a helping hand, though it's not by force to help, but I think it's good to help when you can help. Please hit on the like button if you like this video, subscribe, tell me what you think, tell me, can you do this to a fellow human being? No, I'm sure you can't, right? Don't do this. Tell me if you had a similar experience. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.